In today's video, I've got 4 new plants to show you. Yes, another 4 new plants. But in addition to that, and most importantly, today's video is very much a plant purge. It is super important that I don't start feeling overwhelmed with my collection because I feel like it's in a really manageable space at the moment. So any new plants that I get, one in, one out, and also that I'm buying plants that I love, not just buying a plant for the sake of buying a plant. So any new plants that I add to my collection, firstly, not a diva, they work well in our house, but add color, texture, or something different. So we had the Mother's Day unboxing last week where I was lucky enough to get 4 beautiful new plants for Mother's Day. And then this week was our 22nd wedding anniversary. I know, 22 years. I went to one of my very favorite nurseries in close to the city that I don't go to very often. I found one of my new wishlist plants, which I will show you in a minute, as well as another Rhipsalis, because seriously, can you ever have too many Rhipsalis in your collection? I just love jungle cactus. So I found 2 plants there that were essential. And then on Sunday, one of my very favorite planty people, we hadn't caught up for a while, and she said, let's go and have coffee at the plant chat. So we spent the morning walking around my very dangerous and favorite nursery, which I had a voucher for my birthday. So I ended up with another 2 new plants. You'll be proud of me in that they all tick the boxes. They're all super special. They weren't just plants for the sake of plants. So I can't wait to share all of those with you. Careful, don't knock the plants over. Good girl, good girl. Oh my goodness, the dogs have just found me. This could be dangerous. I've got plants everywhere. Hello. I am losing light here fast, guys, so I'm going to have to stop talking so much.
Editing Mel here. I'm just in the middle of editing and I cannot apologize enough for the lighting in this video. I ran out of daylight when I started recording and I thought I would be fine. I tried to film inside with the help of lights and it's a complete disaster. I cannot apologize enough. I hope you still enjoy watching it and you can still get some plenty tips and tricks along the way. I am so very sorry and apologize in advance.
So the first plant that I got from the plant bunker, I have a real soft spot for Rhipsalis. I just love them. I'll have to show you guys again. It's been a while since I've shown you, but in our entry wall, which is just through that door, when you first walk in, we've got a tall wall and a skylight. And I've got a number of Rhipsalis growing there. And every time I go to the bunker, it reminds me they have a really big collection. They've got the ladders hanging up with lots of Rhipsalis, and it reminds me just how much I love them. My current collection, I have 3 different types of Rhipsalis, but I'm wanting to mix and match and find some more. And so look at this one. Oh my goodness, look at the thick and curly. I just love the randomness of a Rhipsalis. It says A-N-C-E-P, Ancep Rhipsalis. It's handwritten, I'm not quite sure. This was definitely a splurge. It was $39.95 from the plant bunker, but look at the size of this plant. I kept going back to it because initially I was like, no, just enjoy being at the plant bunker. Just enjoy being there, Mel. Have a look around, enjoy the smell of the coffee, and they have lots of accessories. They've actually moved location about 12 months ago, and I hadn't been since they moved. And it's just such a nice vibe, but I kept going back. I couldn't help myself. I thought, I need this. And it's going to look really beautiful in our entry. Wow. So that's the first one. It's amazing. The dogs have started playing ball around me. I'm going to put these over here so that the dogs don't knock them. So the second plant that I got from the bunker, this one was a wish list plant, but it's only been on my wish list less than Mother's Day, so I didn't even know about this plant when I did the Mother's Day video. Look at this. I think YouTube definitely know you with the feed, so I've been getting a lot of plant favorite videos as well as clean out videos, and one of the many plenty YouTubers that I've been watching got this. It's a fern leaf cactus. So another jungle cactus. It's just beautiful. I'm not a fern girl at all. I only own 1 actual fern, and that was left over at a plant swap. But this is not a fern. It's a fern leaf cactus, but it's actually a jungle cactus. And look at that. This was actually $41.95. It wasn't cheap. Look at the size. Look at those leaves. You should feel it. I wish I could explain to you more. They're thick. They're more succulent. Just beautiful. The YouTube channel that I was watching, I want to say, I think she was in Canada. I remember commenting actually on her video saying, I've just added another plant to my wish list. That plant is amazing and I need to have one. And then I hadn't got around to searching them up because I thought this might be like some of my other wish list plants. You can't always get them in Australia. And when I walked into the plant one car, this caught my eye. I walked in and I said to my husband, I think that's a fern leaf cactus. It was hanging up amongst all the Rhipsalis. They only had a handful of them. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is a fern leaf cactus. Check the label, fern leaf cactus. And actually when I was buying it, the girl that worked there said to me, we've only just got them in. We don't have them all the time. They are an absolute favorite, and you can see why. I'm so excited. So that is going to be the feature plant in our entry. So this is just a standard Monstera. It's actually getting a new leaf. It's beautiful. Hasn't opened up yet. So I've had this as my feature plant in the entry for a very, very long time. And you can see it's a pretty big and established plant, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's lovely. So it was just a propagation from my parent plant, which is just beside me actually, which is absolutely huge. I've watched so many planty YouTube videos over the last few weeks. I think it was Wild Fern, and apologies if it wasn't. And she was saying when she does a plant purge, she thinks about, when I'm trying to decide to get rid of a plant, I think about how excited I get when it shoots a leaf. And I thought, she's absolutely right. This is shooting a leaf, which is normally so exciting because how beautiful a Monstera leaves. And you know what? I hadn't even noticed it. It was bone dry. I hadn't watered it in a week or two. This leaf, I'll get editing mode to put a photo up for you. I think it was this leaf was actually touching the supplementary grow light that I've got up there. Plant is absolutely beautiful and deserves a lot more love than I'm currently giving it. So obviously I'm going to keep my parent plant because she is spectacular, but this propagation is going to be one of the first plants that goes to Plant Club because she deserves so much more than what I'm giving her at the moment. So this is plant number 1 going on the purge list. Does anyone else feel guilty when they put a plant on the purge list? I feel really bad for this plant because she's absolutely beautiful and it's nothing that she's done wrong. She is actually shooting new leaves in spite of me and doing a really lovely job with it. I'm just hoping that whoever takes her from Plant Club is going to appreciate it way more than I have. It was only a few weeks ago, if any of you have seen the video, that we were in this corner and I was showing you one of the 3 antique ladders that I got from Facebook. And I think I said something along the lines then of one of the cool things about being a plant parent is none of my plant displays are ever stagnant. I always treat them as a bit of a work in progress. If you've watched my previous videos, you've probably spotted her already, philodendron micans. I had never seen a micans or not paid attention to micans potentially before at the nursery. I can absolutely see why people adore them. Look at the dark colour on that leaf and look at the colour underneath. It's just, wow. When I was asking for colour and texture, she delivers all of that. Don't you love this? My planty friend that I went shopping with yesterday found these little mushrooms at the nursery. I think they were like $1, maybe $2 each. It's so cute. I love the contrast of the red with the dark. So that was where my new alocasia was, and I've actually moved her into the ensuite, and she's now living her best life underneath the Soltec grow lights in the humidity. But I've put the micans there, firstly because this is a location that I see every single day. And can you just picture her trailing down that ladder? And then also once my new anthurium starts growing as well, I love that combination. I'm so grateful to my plant friend for pointing her out when I said I'm really, really happy with the size of my collection and I would only buy plants now that are adding something special, something different to the standard green that I have, but they still have to be fairly easy care. And then if we step back further, another plant that I didn't know that I needed until we walked past her yesterday. This is a peperomia, and I have just a standard green in the bedroom. And you know how there's plants that just work in your house? Peperomias, this type of baby rubber plant just works in our house. They literally, I'm propagating the one in the bedroom constantly. It's just a plain green, and I love it. Such a reasonable sized plant for that. And I'm just hoping that the camera is picking up some of these beautiful colors for you. So when I said I was looking for dark, this leaf is not only such a dark green and has some sort of colouring happening across the leaf, but all the edges have a dark tinge around them as well. I can't stop looking at this plant either. Just beautiful. Look at that. And also excitingly, around the same week that I got our antique ladders, I found 2 of these teacup planters at Aldi on the clearance rack for $12 each. I've been waiting to find a plant that would be suitable to grow in it. So I'm really happy that I can use my teacup planter as well. And then speaking of accessories, So it was my husband and mine's anniversary during the week, and we spent the day plant shopping, and we went out somewhere he likes having lunch. I had a cup of tea, of course, and we walked past this awesome bookshop, this secondhand bookshop, which is one of my very favorite things. But they had lots of knickknacks in there, and I just couldn't go past this reader lady. I just think that is one of the nice things about plants, is putting things that mean things to you or that speak to you in amongst them. And I couldn't leave her in the shop. There was 3 or 4 different ones. She was the biggest, and books, as you all know, as one of my second favorite things. And I thought, yeah, she will go great on the shelf. So lots of changes to this planty corner in only a few weeks, but I'm really happy. I can't wait to watch it grow, and I can't wait to share it with you guys as well. So fortunately or unfortunately, I'm standing up in my kitchen because all of the normal locations that I filmed during the day, when I've just tried them then, my camera was flashing at me telling me there wasn't enough light. And as soon as I brought it into the kitchen, it appeared happy. The good thing is that at least I thought I've got a bench here to show you guys the plants. So we've talked about my 4 new plants, which are just, oh my goodness, making me smile already. And I haven't had them for that long. But that, as I said, means that I'm going to have to get rid of some of my plants. We talked about the Monstera outside, so that was my first plant. The next plant, it actually surprised me and really got me thinking, oh, because of this philodendron and a few other decisions that I made, this is probably the first plants clean out that I've done that I've really enjoyed the process. I've put a lot of thought into the plants that I'm keeping and what plants I'm not keeping. And this one I've hung on to for a long time. So about a month ago, I thought, oh goodness, I'm not happy with the way that it's growing. See how it's quite, I don't know, is spindly the right word? I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not really happy with that. I can see most of the branches is actually, it's about to get a whole heap of new leaves on it. So I thought what I'll do, I'll cut the top off it and I'll put it down here in a propagation. And the propagation is just going absolutely beautifully. And it's got these lovely, look at the color underneath the leaf. Can you see those? I love the concept of this plant, but I don't like its growing style. So it definitely ticks the boxes for me with regards to color and difference because, wow. But I don't like this style of philodendron I worked out, because the next plant behind me, I'm really shocked that it's going in the plant club pile. And when I looked at the 2 of them, they have similar growing patterns. And although they're super easy care plants to look after, apparently I don't like this style. I guess I'm not really a trellis or moss pole person. I really love vine plants. I've actually spent a lot of time researching. So ChatGPT and my Plant ID app can't decide on what sort of philodendron this is. They think it might be actually some sort of hybrid. If you guys know, please put it in the comments, because I'd be really interested to know what sort of philodendron this is. So that is going. The thing I really struggle with, and I imagine a lot of planty people struggle with, I just hope someone will look after it and give it the love that it needs, because it is so healthy. And just like the Monstera, it's not doing anything wrong. Look how beautiful it is. It is a stunning plant. I just don't like the growth pattern. And I feel really bad saying that, but I just don't like the growth pattern. So, plant club, here it comes. The next plant falls into the same category. And you guys might be shocked about this. It's the bulk of my pink princess philodendron. And I mean, look at those bubblegum pink leaves. So I made a really tough decision. So this plant, it was on my Christmas purge list. And then I couldn't do it because of the color. I'm just so in love with the color. But it has the same growth pattern as the mystery philodendron. So you can tell this is really hard. I've actually kept this bit. My pink princess was a lot bigger than this one. I've taken this as a propagation. This is just the very top of it, bringing me those beautiful leaves. And I'm hoping that by keeping a small propagation with these such vibrant colors, when I bought the plant initially, it had a leaf actually that had even more pink on it than that. So I'm going to keep this small propagation. I've read that you can train them to vine instead of needing a trellis. I'm going to train this small bit of the plant, hopefully, to vine. The rest of the really large plant I've cut up into 2 other propagations that I'm hoping someone from Plant Club will love. Because look at those colors. And just like the other plants, it's not doing anything wrong. It's the growth pattern, guys. I don't know why I don't like it, and I don't know why I don't enjoy trellises or moss poles. It's an aesthetic thing for me. And it's a bit of space as well, because the higher they go, then it's a little bit harder, I guess, to find space. So that's my baby pink princess philodendron. I don't know how long that either leaf is going to last. That says to me very, very little chlorophyll in that at all, if any. At least this one's sort of half and half. It's almost those, do they call them a half moon? At least it's got a little bit of chlorophyll in it. Still not sure how long those leaves are going to last. But looks like it's got 2 more leaves coming as well. So it'll be interesting to see if it throws those colours. Because I was looking so closely at my philodendrons, I really sat with thinking about this plant for a few weeks, I have to say. This is my philodendron Birkin. I think Birkin is the right name. I'll make sure I put it up on the screen. The philodendron Birkin is known as a self-heading philodendron, as opposed to a climbing philodendron. And see, they keep that slightly bushier structure. Another self-header is my fat boy. I think I've talked to you guys about this one before. I don't know, I'm not sure the last time I showed you this guy in a video, but look how much it has grown. I just love this plant. So this is another self-heading philodendron. So from what I've read, there's the self-heading philodendrons, which are more bushier and sort of the growth comes out from the middle more. You've got your climbing or your vining philodendrons, like your pink princess and our unknown philodendron. And also the more your vining or climbing philodendrons. I'm just in love with this plant, by the way. Also got given it as the tiniest little baby, and it's just exploded in the last few weeks, gone absolutely bananas, and I'm just loving it. So I love this sort of style of vining I've discovered, and my new micans, of course. Oh, and I was totally distracted by the plants. The third type of philodendron is the crawling philodendrons, which I don't have any examples to show you. I'll make sure I put something up in the screen for you. I've avoided the crawling philodendrons, I guess, because just of the space that they take up a lot more space horizontally. Not ideal when horizontal space is limited. There's one plant in the going to plant club list that shocked me even more than the pink princess did. I didn't think I was going to do it. Let me show you one more that was less shocking. So this plant, not as surprising as the one I'm going to show you later, for the first time ever made it to the maybe list. So this is I always forget its name. It's a type of spider plant, which, as you guys know, staple in my collection, spider plants. But this is the fire flash. I keep wanting to say firecracker, but I think it's fire flash. I'll put the name up on the screen for you. And before I got any of my other colored plants, this was the very first plant I owned that had any color whatsoever. It has been my pride and joy for many, many years. And it's never looked 100% healthy or happy with me. So for a long time, it stayed the same size. It's only since I put it in self-watering, it's grown 4 new leaves in the last few months since I put it in self-watering. So obviously I wasn't watering it enough. But even still, the vibrancy of the colors, it's still not happening, and it also gets quite dry ends. And so I guess I talk about not wanting diva plants. This feels a bit fussy to me. It's not coping in my ambient conditions. I'm treating it the same as all my other plants. It's underneath grow lights. It gets watered whenever it needs. It's in my 1/3 Mab Grow, 2/3 Chunky Mix. It gets fed like all my other plants. And then a new nursery has actually opened right near our house. I'm so excited. It was actually closed on the day, but I'm so excited to go back. But they had one of these in the window. And 2 things happened. Firstly, it reminded me that you don't see them every day in a nursery. They're actually not that common here in Southeast Queensland. Sorry, if I got rid of it, it wouldn't be as easy, I guess, to replace, potentially. I haven't looked online, I'm just talking about nurseries. But also, when I saw how vibrant and beautiful this plant looked in the window, I thought maybe it's worth giving it another shot. With the massive pink princess gone, there is space on my shelf in the ensuite, in the humidity, to give this girl a try. And maybe that'll get rid of the dry ends. So she's got a few months until my next clean out. I'm going to put her in the ensuite and we're going to see how she goes. And if that still doesn't make her happy living here and living her best life, in the very next clean out, she's normally one of my Halloween plants because of the orange. She may not be here for Halloween this year, so we'll just keep an eye on this one. I'll keep letting you know how she goes. now that I've moved her into the ensuite. Before we talk about that very last plant that yes, I am leaving to the end because you can tell having a little bit of a moment with it. I know I need to do it, but I am struggling a little bit, but it's the right thing to do. Let me talk about all of the filler plants that I've put here. Over the last few weeks, I've not only purchased 8 new plants, but if you were able to watch my last video, you would have known that I've got a number of propagations and cuttings from Plant Club. So there has been a lot of new plants come in. So I had to be quite honest with myself. And when I thought about it, there's the monstera and the philodendron that are established plants that I had. But I also, when I looked through my collection, just had so many what I call filler plants. So plants that are propagations of plants that I own that are just super, super easy to propagate. And I have a propagation problem. I have a plant problem, a grow load problem, all things to do with plants. I just can't help myself. I get so much joy from propagating the plants, but I really did have a lot of filler plants. So for example, this pothos is a combination of 3 different plants that I had. So I thought if I don't want to gift them or swap them, then why don't I consolidate them if I'm not ready to give them away? So this was 3 of my pothos cuttings, 3 of my pothos propagations. I've just put it into a jar. Actually, it's an old mason jar with water, but I think this looks absolutely stunning. All 3 of the plants were growing really well, but they were taking up 3 different locations in the house and looked a bit sparse. And I thought, well, put them together, and wow, it's brought the love back. I guess I wasn't appreciating the 3 individual plants as much as I am appreciating this. So I ended up with 4 large pothos. I'll keep 2 for myself, and I've got 2 that I'm giving away to plant clubs. Just so lovely. It's another plant that I was taking for granted because I just had all these little cuttings all over the house, but when you put them together like that, just love it. My parent plant produces so many babies. I'm drowning in spider plants. Oh, so this is actually good for you guys to see this. I put this into water we've got Plant Club this Saturday, so 3 weekends ago, because I took one of my spider plants into Plant Club just to show people how easy they were to propagate in water, and a number of people said they'd like them. That has only been rooting for 3 weeks. How cute is this star container, by the way? I found it in a local cheap shop. I've got a few of them. Can you see that? 3 weeks. They are super simple to propagate in both water and soil. And so, oh goodness, how many of these do I have for Plant Club outside? It's dark outside now, but I think I've got about 6 of these that I'm taking to Plant Club. And then I've got 2 or 3 established spider plants that are this size that I'll also take to Plant Club as well. I've got about 3 this size at home still. I mean, how many spider plants does one need? And then I've got the massive parent out in our back patio as well. Do you guys struggle with the same thing, particularly when you've propagated something from a baby? So all of the spider plants that I have around my house are from my original parent plant. And I don't know, I mean, I just look at this little guy and I think it's so happy and it's so healthy, and you just hope for the best for them. So I guess that's why I keep so many of my propagations. I do struggle to part with them, but I do get a lot of joy from sharing my plants with friends and family. And I guess when I give them to my friends and family, I always say to them, make sure if you have any problems, give me a call, give me a text, don't hesitate. I've joked before in the introduction that my friends do refer to me as a personal plant manager. They absolutely do. Send me photos of plants and text me all the things. So I guess if I'm giving them to friends, I know that they'll always contact me if they're having trouble. But anyway, long story short, lots and lots of spider plants that I've added into the Plant Club pile. I have so many syngoniums because these guys, oh wow, they love our conditions and they very much are filler plants, just like spider plants for me and the pothos. If I have a location that I think a plant would look really nice there and I haven't found a suitable plant, I will fill the gap with a spider plant, a syngonium, or a pothos. I did the same. I've kept 2 established syngoniums, just these plain green. I've got lots of variegated syngoniums that I'm not willing to part with at the moment, but just these more plain green ones. The 2 that I've kept are probably 3 times the size of this, so I've kept those, and I've got 3 of these that are in the Plant Club pile, and these are just a collection. Same thing, they were a bit sparse. I've just bundled them all together, so I've collected them up individually from spaces and then potted them together. So hopefully someone will get a lot of joy out of this, because it's so much a filler plant for me. I can't even tell you when its last new leaf was, and it's shooting all the time. I feel like I blink and these things grow in our house. So no doubt it's had some new leaves recently. One more thing before we go on to the final plant. Do you guys enjoy looking at plant accessories? I don't know if you do or you don't. I know I really enjoy seeing the sorts of things, particularly off-shop finds that people use to put their plants in. So this was on our anniversary outing. I found this in a little op shop in at West End. It was $4, and I'm not sure if you see the print. It just has some really beautiful botanical prints on it. And I thought for $4, I'm always looking for my propagations. I thought it'll just be perfect. It sits on our windowsill in our kitchen, which gets beautiful morning filtered light, and my propagations just love it. And I'm always looking for little pots for propagations that have this neck that keeps the plant upright while they're developing their roots. Tip, trick for new players, something I've fallen for all the time. You don't want to keep established plants in a container that has a narrow neck, because if they get too many roots, you then have to pull the roots out and you can actually damage the plants. But I find little containers like this are just perfect for propagations because they just keep the plant upright while it's developing its roots. So this is the first time I've tried to propagate my Adansonii. I'm super, super excited. I only cut it. When did I get this? I got this on Saturday. Today's Monday, so I only clipped this on Sunday. So it's only 24 hours old. So I've taken 2 cuttings, 2 nodes on each. Hopefully at least one of them takes, because my Adansonii is not huge. Same when I was doing this stock take, it's a plant that I would actually like to expand in my collection. That is the parent plant. It came even smaller than those little propagations. So it's finally got to a stage that I was confident to take some clippings. I love this guy. It's a plant that I would actually like more of in my collection. Going to their, is it maximum capacity? If I ever see them when we're out and about, or particularly in nurseries, they're definitely a plant that I gravitate towards. I can't help myself. So this is one I've decided I'd like to expand in my collection. I don't normally leave the best things to last. I've said it lots of times before. I'm normally, let's do the most exciting thing first, but I'm struggling with this, but I know it's the right decision. And no, it is absolutely not the Kotobuki. She is a keeper, but I'm using this for contrast. So for example, I'm sure she grew again this week. It was bucketing down with rain. I know that you shouldn't keep begonias leaves wet. I'm a lazy plant owner. I know that you should keep your plants dust free, but in general, I don't dust my plants leaves. I rely on putting them in the shower or out in the rain. So it rained this week. I put her out in the rain just for an hour. Oh my goodness. She has just exploded. And look, I've been watching this new leaf come up all week. So excited. There's more down there. Now, I've been going into the ensuite multiple times per day to watch this new leaf grow. In contrast, I don't know if this lighting is going to do it justice, but this is the escargot. This was my very first begonia. This was the plant that I saw online, thought I need that plant in my collection. I've never seen such a unique leaf, and I don't know, oh, you can see it. See the fur on the leaf? When you get that in the right light, I'll put a photo up. It's actually a pink fur. The color on these leaves is spectacular. Look how sparse this plant looks compared to this. And if we go back to the philodendron, I've learnt this time with my plant clean out, I'm very much about the structure of the plant, not just the color and the texture. So for me, this brings me a lot of joy. This does not. So I've had to stake it. You should see, if I pull this out, the whole thing just flops. It had 2 other leaves on it. The most it's ever got to is 5 leaves. And even then it looks sparse. I ended up having to cut the 2 leaves off because they got so floppy they got caught in a drawer. It looks like it's got some new leaves coming up here. But I'm not watching that new leaf like I am the Kotobuki. In fact, I'm just thinking it's just going to be more leaves that flop, and then I'm going to have to stake up. And I did actually hear another planty YouTuber talking the same thing about their escargot, and it did make me feel a bit more validated, I guess, because this is spectacular. Begonias are spectacular. I just don't like her growth pattern. So I'm taking this to Plant Club. At the moment, this begonia is on the bottom shelf. So I've got, what do you call it, like the shower caddy, growing all the plants in the ensuite. I've relegated her to the bottom shelf. I've literally broken some pieces of bamboo to hold it up. It gets watered, but it only gets watered because it has about the same watering needs as the Kotobuki. So Kotobuki is at my eye level. She's got absolute prime position in the ensuite. And so when I notice that she needs a drink, I also water the escargot. I'm really proud of myself with this clean out, and I'm really starting to learn what I do enjoy about my plants, because plants should be enjoyable, not stressful. And I don't have space for plants that don't bring me joy. Before we end the video, so what did I end up with? We've ended up with more than 10 plants in the pile to go to Plant Club, between those filler plants, but also some of those individual plants. I think it's made me feel like I'm enjoying my collection even more, and really thinking through the decision before I got rid of any of those plants, and also thinking about the plants that I've decided to keep as well. That's it for another video from me. I hope you really enjoyed it. Maybe picked up a few plant tips along the way, although I didn't give as many care tips as I normally do. It really was more about talking about the new and the clear out plants this time. And until my next video, guys, take care, and remember, you've totally got this.